Hi, and welcome to the podcast tour of the Salamonie Reservoir. I will be one of your 3 guides that will take you into 5 different locations around the reservoir and teach you about things you can see and other things you can't. Track 1. Our first stop is at the pond. As you look around, you may see some odd things about the trees in the middle of the pond. They are all dead. This happened because of the water that the trees are in. The water choked out the trees, causing them to die, which can both be a positive and a negative. It is a negative because the trees died and can no longer provide for the earth, but it is a positive for the creatures that live under the trees and in the roots. As you continue looking around, you can also see some animals like birds and hawks and bugs. During this stop, we are going to talk about the predator-prey relationship between the red-tailed hawk and the bluegill fish. The red-tailed hawk is a large predatory bird that feasts on bugs, mice, and small fish. That is why he is hunting the bluegill. The hawk eats an average of about 1 pound of meat or fish a day, but the exact amount depends on the weight and physical condition the bird is in. The bluegill is a North American fish that lives in ponds and smaller lakes. It is a small fish that can grow up to about a foot long and eats insects, bread, cheese, or whatever it can fit in its mouth. It is also used for bait for larger fish, such as pike. The hawk also helps control the population of the bluegill so that it does not overcrowd the pond, causing the other organisms to start dying because of lack of food. Now please continue on the trail.
Track 2. You should now be on a trail, and as you walk along this trail, we'll be talking about carrying capacity. Have you ever wondered why a species population never gets way out of control? Every animal has to have things to eat, and there's a limited amount of food for that certain animal, so there is competition for food. If the population gets too high, the animals will not have enough food to eat, and they will become weak, and they will start to die off. When the population dips because of the deaths, there will be more food available for each animal, so the population will rise. If you had a graph of the population of almost any species, you will see that the population rises and falls to almost the same amount. The middle of the rises and falls is the carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is the amount of animals that can survive comfortably in a habitat. When the population goes above the carrying capacity, the animals will die off until the population goes below the carrying capacity.
Track 3. Now you should be still on the trail. At this stop, I am going to talk to you about primary and secondary succession. I also will talk about the pioneer species. When a forest or grove is overgrown, the owners or caretakers will set off a controlled fire. This is done to create fresh new plants in a new environment. This sets off something called succession. It first starts out at primary succession, which is when organisms grow from practically nothing in the stages it grows is called secondary succession. These organisms grow and produce all because of the pioneer species. The pioneer species are the organisms that are the first inhabited barren. They give nutrients to the other organism, which in turn grows into another forest. This is called primary and secondary succession.
Track 4. You should now be looking at a big body of water. The lake has 2,665 acres of water in the summer for fishing, boating, swimming, and other water-related activities. Lake levels tend to fluctuate widely during February, March, and April, and water is frequently turbid. Water clarity is the best from July to October, which is the best time for fishing. To control the water levels in the Salamonie Lake and ponds, the staff of the Salamonie Reservoir calls the water controls in Kentucky, and then they release the water down to the city, and is then taken care of the workers that are in.
Track 5. You should now be standing next to the large tree in the picnic area next to the interpretive center. Take a close look at the tree. As you can tell, the tree is damaged. This tree was decimated by what is called the emerald ash borer. The emerald ash borer is an invasive species that came from a foreign country. It will kill any ash tree that it finds. This is only one of the invasive species in Indiana. Another form of invasive species is Japanese stiltgrass. The grass will grow very fast and take over the whole floor of forest it's in, and kill all other small bushes. Another invasive species is the Asian carp. Asian carp is a large fish that came from Asia and will jump out of the water when startled, killing some people and boats. The last form of invasive species we will be talking about today are zebra mussels. Zebra mussels came to the U.S. on the bottom of boats and have spread from Lake Clare southwards. These mussels have very sharp shells and will cut your feet if you walk on them. They will cling to the bottom of lakes and ponds by extending little suckers on the bottom of the creature. These creatures are such a harm because they will attach to the engines of boats and onto pipes that provides companies with water. These mussels aren't all bad though. They eat by filtering water through themselves, therefore making the water nice and clean.